So guys, welcome back to the channel, and I decided to actually get the PS Portal. Now for the people out there, in case you're wondering about the price, it is $199 regular. I'm not sure what is used at GameStop or if they even sell it used, but I got it for a lot cheaper because, you know, I had a lot of stuff that I was just sitting around the house, traded in the GameStop, got some decent credit, and just had to put a minimal amount to it. Now, for the people out there, this is not a standalone system. This guy does have to be connected to a PS5 at all times. Now, apparently it has the option to be used in rest mode, but whenever I turn it on, it actually connects directly to the PS5 immediately. It turns it on manually itself. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's a cool device, but it's nothing more than a tablet with controllers on it. It's strictly for streaming. You cannot download anything to this. Why they made it is beyond me, but some people will find a pretty decent usage for it. I actually purchased this for my wife because she wanted to play Cyberpunk over again on a PS5 without the lag and stuff like that because she has a lower end PC. So that's one of the reasons why I got it, so you can play around the house rather than being stuck in the living room. So with that being said, let's get right into this review and not waste any more time. So in case you're wondering, the only thing that comes with this is basically the charger cable, printed materials, the system itself, nothing else to worry about. So let's get that out of here right now. You won't be looking at that box anymore unless you box it up and give it to somebody else. So if you look at the system, it does come with the two analogs, as you can see right here. And you see that little question mark, whatever that was, exclamation point. It means that my Wi-Fi signal was weakened. So if you have a weakened Wi-Fi signal, just know that this might disconnect from the PS5, and then your game will still be going on because the PS5 is currently on, and your character is going to get killed, especially if you can't pause the game. So just make sure you have a very good Wi-Fi connection. I'll kind of reiterate that part in another section of the video. So again, analogs right here. You have the physical PlayStation button. This works as a, PlayStation button takes you down to this, so you can go to your settings, turn off the controller, things like that. You have this physical button, which is for screenshots and recordings. That didn't change. You still have your start button right here. All your PlayStation buttons. Remember, it's just a PS5 controller. L1, R1, L2, R2. Pretty self-explanatory. Now up top, plus and minus, this is the volume buttons right here. You have your power button to actually lock the system, and this button right here works as a sync button for PlayStation accessories. So this doesn't have Bluetooth, just in case you're wondering. You have to use the PlayStation headphones that come with it, unless you use the headphone jack, which is at the bottom right here. I don't know if you can see that with the glare, but there's a headphone jack right here. And then the actual USB-C charging cable is right here. There we go. Let me show that glare is gone. So yes, headphone jack right here, USB cable right here. You also have this button, which I nearly missed right here. Thank God it was lit up. This is the mute button. So if you press it, it will unmute. If you press it again, it will mute. So it seems like this controller has the capability of actually you talking through it, I would assume. But if it doesn't have Bluetooth capability, I'm guessing like once you get those Sony headphones or a headset that's compatible, then this actually works for you. Now, I do want to also say that it does have those adaptive triggers, in case you're wondering. So if you're playing one of those games that require that in it and you feel resistance in the triggers, don't think that the controller is broken. That's just the way the game is made. It's one of the reasons why I like PlayStation, because it seems like they put more effort into their software than Xbox when it comes to that. But again, I'm still a PC fan, so then you're not going to hear any hate over there from me. So let me just show you how the system looks itself. One second, guys. Just tap my screen to make sure I'm getting a good camera view. Here we go. So it's a cool looking system, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure if they make cases for this. If they do, it's more likely on Amazon or maybe the PlayStation Store, but I would definitely get a case for this, or at least at minimum a tempered glass to protect the screen so you don't make sure you don't destroy your investment. Now, I want to compare this to some other systems. So for anyone thinking that this looks ridiculous, this is the PlayStation Portal, as you can see. Over here is the Nintendo Switch, which is, I guess you could say it definitely is slimmer. Well, the screen part isn't slimmer, but because it has this huge back piece, that's what makes it a lot thicker. This seems like a lot more futuristic compared to the Switch, but at the end of the day, the Switch can hold games on it because it has internal memory, and of course that SD card on the bottom that you see there. And just kind of give you a different size comparison, this right here is how the Steam Deck is. This is the 512 gigabyte model, non-OLED. I actually had the back switched as is, and I have to work on the front later. I've just been lazy about it, so, don't judge me too much. But outside of that, these two systems are standalone devices that work with Steam, but that have internal memory. So, you would think that they would have done that with the PlayStation Portable. I think that would have been an amazing thing if you would have had the option to have a portable system that has like maybe 512 or at least 1 terabyte of memory in it. Charge, I don't know, 400, not even 400, 350, 349 for it, similar to the Switch price. And that would have been perfectly fine. But instead, they decided to go with this, which is $200. And then when you total up all the accessories and stuff, you're basically buying another PS5, which is absolutely outrageous to me, but to each their own. Now, let's go over to the next section. I'm actually going to show you guys how to sync this. Now, it is currently synced to my PS5, but I'm going to factory restore the system and then show you guys how to do it so you don't have any more doubts about how to go about this. So this is the process of syncing the the system right here. I already factory restored it. I'm going to go ahead and okay, United States. I thought I pressed UK for a moment. It's going to search. I'm going to scan for networks. All right, I'm going to go ahead and type in my network code right here. Let me just put this down so nobody can see it. Don't worry, we'll go through the full process. So I'll show you guys how to do it. And I will actually show you what the TV looks like when I'm going through this process. Because there's something that you have to do to your PS5 in order for remote play to work in the first place. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and agree to the terms and conditions, as we can see. When the next page pops up, normally it's going to do some type of background check to see if you need to update the system, because I had to update the system before I got to this page when I first unboxed this. So just keep that in mind. Now you can do the QR code or you can manually sign in right here, but I want to show you guys something before I do that. So let me just swipe up. Let me put this screen up. So you're going to need to, now when you go to the settings, right, it's probably going to show it on the system, but I want to show you this anyway right here. And I know it's a little lopsided, so just bear in mind, go to system, you end up going to remote play. You're going to want to turn remote play on. Make sure that's on. If it isn't, the system isn't going to connect to this. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to go back to the home screen for right now and put it back down here. Whoops, my phone popped out the little case while I'm recording. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in manually to my PlayStation account. It's going to take a moment, so just give me a sec, guys. Just talk amongst yourself while I'm doing this. To be honest with you, it feels really nice in the hand. So, for the people out there wondering how good it feels in the hand, it's like walking around with a PS5 controller. So if you're okay with the PS5 grips, this should not be an issue for you whatsoever. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Once you put your email in, it's going to ask you for a password, and that's what I'm about to do right now. Put my password in. 1 second, guys. I'm almost done. All right. Oh, wrong password. Whoopsie. Let me do that again. I forgot I changed it recently to get back into the account. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So it's signing in right now, and as you can see, what it requires for you is a code to be sent directly to the email of whatever PlayStation account that you have. So I'm going to type in my code. It doesn't really matter if you see the code for this because the code changes every time you sign in. So I think it's 722. Let's see here. 728. 728. I'm going to go ahead and hit done and go. So it's going to go ahead and verify the information right now for me. All right, so I'm signed into my PS5 account. So if I go ahead and tap it, it's going to ask me to select the PS5. This is the one that's right here. I only have one PS5, so that's the one. Well, I had others, but they were returned and they were defective back when PlayStation was having all those issues. So you see this right here where it says, allow connection to PS5 required. Turn on your PS5, do remote play while the PS5 is connected, yada, yada, yada. I already explained that to you earlier in the video and showed you exactly what you do, so you don't have to worry about this part. So I'm just going to go ahead and press continue. Right here it says this is a quick menu to change some settings. Go ahead and tap that so you can see it. I'm going to tap the screen here, and boom, successfully connected. So it was a little sloppy. I do apologize for that. But what it's doing right now is connecting to this PS5. As soon as it's done, because this is the first time, well, it connects faster if you already have it connected to the PS5. Right now, it's actually searching it, so it's going to take a moment in order to register to the PS5. Then when it's done, either it's going to tell me to press X to continue, or it's going to take me to the main menu. So I'm just going to place it down right here for now. Oh, there we go. That was quick. So X to play. Go ahead and tap that, and boom. As soon as you look up to your PS5, remember, it's remote, so it's showing everything that's on the screen. And then here we are. So the same exact way the PS5 is, everything you see here, every movement you make is going to pop up on your screen over here too. Now, my wife did ask me a question, which I didn't try it yet, which I'll try it in another video. Whether you play Minecraft, will it be split screen if it mirrors everything that you see? So that is a very good question. And I will, if you're interested, I'll go ahead and do a video about split screen gameplay on the actual PS Portable. But yes, very simple to use. Very simple setup. As long as you remember your password and information, you shouldn't have any problem whatsoever. It's very simplistic to do. And as long as you follow the instructions that I just showed you, you'll have no issues whatsoever. Anyway, let's go into the next section, guys. So for the people that are wondering, I'm sure there are more than enough PlayStation Portable reviews that you can see. But if you're a part of this channel and you're new to it, let me explain something to you that's very, very important that may change your mind about the system immediately before we even get into the gameplay aspect. Now, PS5 controller people, you already know when you press this right here is a button. It's a touchpad and it doubles down as a physical button. So if you're playing Cyberpunk, when you press this, it takes you to your pause menu where you can look at your character, the items, you can craft, you can do so many different things. But remember, guys, when you look at this, where's that physical button at? It does not exist. So what they did was they implemented a weird system in order to get to the menu. So let's do the first thing. How does the touchpad work right here? When you tap the screen once, these come up. And if you rub your finger against this will actually move around as the touch screen aspect of the PS5 controller. Now, I'm going to let that go away. If you tap the screen once and then double tap, then it takes you to your actual menu in game. So some games just require you can just press start and you don't have that problem whatsoever, while other games actually require you to press this in order to kind of interact with the controller. The downside is that when you're playing certain games that might require you to go in and out of menus quickly, and you know, when you pause it, it may not necessarily pause the game. You just got to get used to the touch controls on this system, which can kind of be a pain if you're a person that you don't really remember things like that. But over time, I'll be honest with you, after using it for a little bit, I got used to it immediately. Sometimes I forget, like, oh yeah, I have to touch the screen and then double tap in order to go into the menu, like that, like so. But you get used to it very, very quickly. And no, you don't have to tap that fast. You can just, actually, you still have to double tap, but I wish it was a little bit slower. Maybe there's something in the settings that allow me to do slower touches, but you get used to it over time. But that's pretty much a feature that I wanted you guys to definitely see. Now, gameplay. Like I said before, it's not like you need some crazy processor for this to work. Everything runs off of Wi-Fi. So my Wi-Fi is actually in my computer room, which is not the best location for the entire household, but it is there. I do want to also say that this has the adaptive trigger. So when you're playing, let's say you're riding down the street with Cyberpunk inside of a car, you will feel that the triggers are giving you resistance like a typical PS5 controller. You have rumble and all that, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, there's no Bluetooth. I might have mentioned this earlier in the video, but if I didn't and you skipped to this part, well, guess what? There's no Bluetooth. They want you to buy their controllers, not controllers, their earbuds, which are grossly overpriced. Let's be perfectly clear here. You can go buy yourself a pair of AirPods or something, AirPod Pros, for cheaper than what Sony is selling their headphones. And that says a lot. Galaxy Buds, you can even get, it's egregious. Like, even though the system is only $200, to be honest, this is nothing more than a tablet connected to a controller. Now, granted, I don't have any lag whatsoever because my internet connection is pretty good. But if you're a person that came from using Google Stadia, or if you've ever used Xbox Game Pass, you know exactly how it is whenever this decides to drop service. Now, unfortunately, that has happened to me before, where I went to the bedroom and because the Wi-Fi connection wasn't that strong, it did drop the signal, and it'll let you know in the corner whether the signal is strong or not. What ends up happening is that this either freezes or it locks, and then you have to go back to your actual game system and turn on the controller and start playing from there, or just walk back into a room where you have a better connection. So if you're one of those people where you're playing a game that you can't pause, like Elden Ring, I do not suggest playing on this unless you have an extremely strong connection that you're very confident will stay connected at all times, because you will be dying a lot just basically from Not lag, but yes, this does have lag. I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. It does have lag, but it's based on your Wi-Fi connection. Everything is based on your Wi-Fi connection. So when I played Cyberpunk, when I tried Final Fantasy Rebirth, I played Sims, everything runs well. Just know that it's not the same of having a actual handheld standalone system like the Steam Deck. This is obviously a smarter choice. But if you're a Sony player and you don't care about PC stuff and Nintendo Switches and all that, then this will definitely work for you. Now, from my understanding, there's an update to the system that allows you to be able to use any Wi-Fi connected outside of the one that your PS5 is connected to. I don't know why it took this long for them to do that. They should have launched with that. But, you know, instead of just working on the software and giving people a pleasant experience, they made this for some reason. But again, it's not a horrible device, but I really don't see the point unless you're a person where you're really dedicated to the PlayStation software and you just want to play in different areas instead of having it connected to a TV all the time. So think of it as a Wii U controller. You can only go so far with it as long as it's connected to a stable Wi-Fi connection. But as long as it's connected to a stable connection, the PS5 in this, you can actually look at your PS5 while using this as a controller if you want to without looking down, as long as the connection is good. And I haven't had any issues whatsoever. I tried it with, what's the game called? Demon Souls, where I was fighting a dragon and I was in a high stakes battle. And guess what? I didn't make any mistakes whatsoever. And when I pressed something, the button impact, the bullets, I aimed, I dodged, I duck, I do whatever I need to do. It worked very, very well. So just kind of keep in mind that you better have a strong Wi-Fi connection or this is going to be a worthless piece of hardware for you. So to answer the question whether this is worth the asking price, you don't have to go based on my opinion, but I'm going to say yes and I'm going to say no, because depending on your lifestyle, you don't really need this. Now for me, I have Nintendo Switches, I have Steam Decks, I also have the Jawbone controller that connects to the phone, so I can pretty much use my phone's internet connection and be anywhere and play my games streaming without a problem. Now, this guy, like we talked about, only connects to a PS5. You need to be on the same Wi-Fi connection. And recently, apparently, there was an update that allows you to use different Wi-Fi connections from your PS5. As long as they're both strong, you should be able to connect without a problem. All I can say about that is it's $199 regular price. If you watch this full video, you know that I paid less money than that because I had trade-in credit and a couple things that I sent to GameStop, and that's how I got the system. You're looking at $499 for a PS5. You're looking at $199 for this. So that brings it up to $200, $700 right there before taxes. And then, you know, you have your controllers and any other accessories that you want. The downside is that, well, I probably named a couple things that was already downsides, but the downside is that you can't connect a regular Bluetooth to this. It has to be the stupid Sony headphones that they want to sell you for $200. And let's be perfectly clear here. For $200, you can go get yourself some Galaxy Buds. Matter of fact, you can get some Galaxy Buds. I've Galaxy Buds SE for $79.99 on sale and $99 regular price. And I promise you, they're 100 million times better than some crappy Sony Buds for $200. There is no technology in those buds that's worth the asking price. I don't know why they would do something so anti-consumer the way that they did, but to each their own. Again, if you got the money, go ahead and get it if that's what you desire. Personally, I'll just use a headphone jack or just play it out loud and call it a day. I don't want to invest too much into this, but again, this is for the wife to play Cyberpunk and whatever game she wants in bed and around the house. So you decide. If you think it's worth it, purchase it. If you don't, 9 times out of 10, you won't be missing much of anything because you already have the full PS5 experience. This is just nice when I'm eating food in the dining room and stuff like that. I could take it in there and just continue playing exactly where I left off, but to each their own. But anyway, like and subscribe like always, and I will see you guys in the next video.